Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlene and today I'm going to be sharing with you all of the books I'm hoping to get to in July. So if you saw my June TBR video, you will know I had a couple chunky books that I was going to try to get to this summer, and I've added another one since then. So this is more like hopeful books rather than a specific TBR that I think I'm going to get to all of these. So the first couple books you would have seen on my June TBR, so I'm not going to go in depth on them here, but if you do want more information on them, I will leave my June TBR video linked down in the description below and you can go check it out. But the first book was Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in the Stormlight Archive series, and I was hoping to be done with this one by the end of August, but my plan was to get through part 2 in June, and so far I haven't even started part 2. So I did finish part 1 in May, but I've made no progress on it this month. I do have a little over a week left at the time that I'm filming this, so I'm hoping to get through it by then, but we will see. And then the second book I picked up for a read-along hosted by 4 ladies here on BookTube: Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia, Christy from Christy Lewis Dostoevsky in Space, Victoria from A Musical Bookworm, and Naomi from Naomi's Bookshelf. And that was The Tale of Genji by Murasaki Shikibu. This is a Japanese classic, and unfortunately at this point, I'm not going to finish this by the end of the read-along. I'm currently on page 68 in the middle of chapter 4. So I'm planning to continue working on this, but I have no idea when I'm actually going to finish it. I'm just going to read a little bit here and there, and I'll finish it when I finish it. So I probably won't put this in another TBR video unless I'm getting close to being done with it, or if I actually make a lot of progress on it at some point. All right, and the last one you guys saw on my June TBR is not a chunky book, but it is one that I was planning to read over the summer, and that is A History of France by John Julius Norwich, which is a nonfiction book, obviously about the history of France. And I still haven't read any. I'm still only one chapter in this month. So again, I have over a week left in June to try to make some progress on this, but I also have until the end of August to try to finish it because that's when I would like to have it done. So again, we'll see. All right, so the new chunky book that's on my TBR is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. And yes, thank you all who voted in my One and Done Classics video. This is the one that won the vote. I posted a video in May talking about 10 authors, 10 classic authors I had only read one book by and had not picked up another book from them for one reason or another. And you guys got to vote on which author you wanted me to read another book from and which book you wanted me to read. And John Steinbeck won for author and East of Eden won for book. So this one's not quite as bad as the other books. It's 601 pages. So a little bit shorter than the others because the other two chunky books are over 1,000 pages each. But it will still take me a little while to get through the book. However, I haven't started it yet either. So I need to get on that. But I figure at this point, even if I wait until July to start it, that's 300 pages a month. And I think that's completely doable. So as far as what this book is about, from my understanding, it's a retelling of the fall of Adam and Eve and the story of Cain and Abel from Genesis. And in this book, Adam and his wife move to California from the East Coast, and they have twin boys whose names I don't remember, Cal and Aaron. And one of them thrives and does really well, and one of them has a mysterious darkness about him. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say they don't like this book. It's possible there are reviews out there that are negative and I just haven't heard them, but I don't think I've heard any negative reviews on it. So I'm hoping I enjoy it. All right, so with those books out of the way, let's get into the other books that are on my TBR for July. The hard part with this is I had a list of categories for books that I wanted to get to. I had a revolving list and I was hoping to get through most of the categories every month, but May and June kind of threw me off. The first week of May, I was really busy getting videos edited and filmed for this channel to get it started. My first video went out on May 8th, so I've been doing this for a little over a month now. And I had 6 videos in a row going out, so I was just busy at the beginning of May getting all of that going. And then in June, the first week of June, we were on vacation visiting family. And I don't get much reading done when I'm on vacation, especially when I'm visiting other people. So I got almost no reading done the first week of June. The second week of June was a combination of getting things cleaned up around the house after we got home and trying to get caught up on videos because I didn't film while we were gone. So it kind of feels like I lost about a week and a half to 2 weeks in June for reading, which is why my reading is so far behind. But I don't know for sure if July is going to be any better, if I'm actually going to have more time, because I'm also going to be getting ready for our school year. We actually start in July because I give us a longer winter break. So I have to be getting stuff ready for that. So I don't know for sure if I'm going to have a decent amount of time to read in July or not. So I'm just going to go over all of the books that fit into the categories I haven't hit yet. And if I get through them all, then I'll start on other books. If I don't, they'll roll over to August. Because at this point, I'm not really sure what books I want to prioritize and what ones I don't. And if you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to the categories and how I'm picking books on my TBR, I will leave a link down in the description below to my May TBR video where I explain that a lot more in depth. I've changed it up a little bit since then. I'm trying to get through all of the categories once and then repeat them instead of the way I described it in that video. But if you want to know all the categories and some of the books on them, you can go watch that video. I'm not sure I talked about a lot of the books on there, but I at least go over all the categories. Okay, so the first 2 books I'm going to talk about are ones that were also on my June TBR. And I have 2 that I didn't get to in June, so they're rolling over to July. And again, I'm not going to go too in depth on these books. If you want to know more about them, my June TBR is down in the description. So the first book is The Hideaway by Lauren K. Denton. And from what I understand, this is a Christian fiction novel. It follows a girl who goes back to her hometown after her grandma passes and finds out from her grandma's will that she has been left her grandmother's B&B and has also been charged with renovating it. It takes place in the South. Her grandmother's old friends are still living there. It sounds like it could be a really good summer read. And I have a lot of Lauren K. Denton's books on my TBR, and I feel like I need to get to at least one of them soon. So I'm going to try to get to this book. I just don't know when. And the next one I was very much supposed to get to in June because it was Chantel's pick for her Agatha Christie book club that she's hosting on her Patreon this year for June. But that's Parker Pyne Investigates, which is a short story collection following the same detective, Parker Pyne, in all of them. And I was looking forward to this, but yeah, I got way behind in June and just didn't get to it. So I wasn't planning to pick up the book that she picked in July. At this point, my plan was to do the 2 short story collections, the Parker Pyne one and the Harley Quinn one. So I can go ahead and read this one in July, even though I didn't get to it in June. But I am a little bummed I didn't get to it in the month I was supposed to. And then there are 3 other books that I am wanting to get to from my TBR before I can cycle through the categories again. And the first one is Suki Alone. And I don't remember which of the authors who writes the Avatar: The Last Airbender graphic novels actually wrote this one. Jean Lewin Yang did some, Faith Erin Hicks did some, and then I think there might be 1 or 2 other people who have done one here or there. But in June, I started working through the prequels. I read Imbalance earlier this year, and when I read it, I thought it was the last book in the series, and I was just done with the series. But after I finished it, I went on Goodreads and found out that a bunch of the graphic novels that were considered part of this world. They were related to Avatar: The Last Airbender, but they weren't considered part of the main graphic novel series, were now considered part of the series. I don't know who made that change and when, but it changed sometime between December of 2023 and April or May of 2024 when I finished Imbalance. So, I decided to start working through the prequels and try to actually finish up this series, or at least get caught up on it, because there's another book coming out this year. So I don't know if they're planning to release more or not, but I at least want to get caught up. So I have read through the other two prequel books, which I will discuss in my June wrap-up, but Suki alone is the one that I have left. There is a chance I will go ahead and get to it in June, but if I don't, I will get to it in July. And all of the prequel books, from what I understand, either take place during the show Avatar: The Last Airbender, but they involve things that we didn't see in the TV show, or they specifically take place between the end of the TV show and the beginning of the graphic novel called The Promise. And I guess I haven't been specifying on any of these, have I? So, category-wise, if you've been following along with that, The Hideaway is under my miscellaneous category. Parker Pine is under the read-along or book club category. Avatar: The Last Airbender is under the graphic novel or manga category. The Sanderson category with Words of Radiance. Read-along or book club category with Tale of Genji. And French books for A History of France. East of Eden is the one that doesn't actually fit into any category. I guess you could call it the miscellaneous category. It's a book that you guys voted on. I said I would read it by August, so it got added to the TBR, even though there's not a specific category for it. The next book I'm planning to try to get to in July is Morgaine's Revenge by Laura Ann Gilman, which is the second book in the Grail Quest trilogy. This is a middle grade trilogy, and it is for the Arthurian Legend category. I read the first book, The Camelot Spell, 2, 3, 4 years ago now. I don't know. It's been a while. So this series follows the kids who live in King Arthur's court. And in the first book, there is a spell put on the entire castle that causes all of the adults to fall asleep. And nobody can wake them up. So these 3 kids set out to try to find out who cast the spell and how to break it. And I really enjoyed the first book. I thought it was a lot of fun. But for some reason, I never read the other 2 books in the series, even though I own them. So I'd like to go ahead and get this one finished up. So I'm moving on to book 2, hopefully in July, possibly in August. We'll see. And then the last book on my TBR, again, hoping to get to in July, but at least sometime this summer, is in the new releases category, and that is The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. And this is the author of The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. And I'm not going to lie, I've heard mostly meh reviews when it comes to this book. So I'm hoping I end up liking it, but I guess we'll find out. So all I really know about this one is that it's set on an island where in this world a fog has rolled in and it kills anyone it comes in contact with, but somehow this island has managed to keep the fog at bay. There's, I think, 3 scientists living on the island, and they run whatever it takes to keep the fog away. But then one morning everyone wakes up and they find that one of the scientists is dead. Now they have 107 hours, I think it is. That sounds like a really long time, but I feel like that's what it's actually, I guess it's really not. It's like 4.5 days. It doesn't say it in here, but it said it somewhere, probably on Goodreads. They have 107 hours to figure out who killed the scientist before the fog rolls in and kills everyone on the island. The only problem is everybody has lost their memory from the night before. So someone on the island is a murderer and they don't even know it. Like I said, it sounds like it could be really good, but I've heard only okay things from most people, so we'll see. Alright, so those are all of the books that I'm planning on either continuing or trying to get to in the month of July. Obviously the bigger books I'm only planning to continue, I'm not planning to finish them. And the other books, I'm going to try to get to as many of them as I can. normally I would say I know once school starts, it's going to get busier and I'm not going to have as much time to read. But I feel like I have not had as much time to read this summer as I normally do. So part of me is almost looking forward to the school year, like, maybe things will actually calm down and I'll actually get some reading done, despite having school. So I don't know, we'll see. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've read any of the books I talked about today, please let me know what you thought of them down in the comments below. Also, let me know what book you are most excited to get to in the month of July. I hope you are having a wonderful day, and I'll see you later.